Hello, Dwight Norris here of Fishing at Work, and today we're going to talk about travel time. Travel time to your local body of water when you're fishing at work, which is probably the only real time it's actually important because you have a certain amount of time that you need to do your thing. Maybe it's a half an hour and it's like near impossible. Maybe it's an hour like most people, or maybe it's really flexible, You have to work early, stay a little later, and you can utilize that time in between instead of in the morning or at the end. And you're like, hey, I can work an extra half an hour or hour. Maybe I can go fishing for an hour and a half. Maybe I can go fishing for 2 hours. But either way, you have to allot for that time because you never know when somebody is watching or checking your time or just wondering like, where's this guy going in the middle of the day all the time? Maybe I should try to see how long he's gone every day. Maybe he's looking for a new job. Maybe he's doing something else. I don't know. It's honestly none of their business. And the most logical thing for them to do is just to ask. And if they ask, that's up to you to decide what you want to say. You can tell the truth, which is what I do. Hey, I went fishing. What's the problem? You want to go? Cool. But generally, that's up to you. So, first of all, to actually track your time, you want to use a particular device. I use it on my iPhone. Maybe you have one, maybe you don't. If you have a watch, that works as well. But there's the clock function, and the clock function has a couple of settings that are useful, but one in particular, and that is just the thing called the timer. So when you go out the first time, you want to kind of track how long it takes you to get to where you're going. As for myself, it takes me 10 minutes to walk here, and I know that now. I don't have to think about it too much, but I still check. And then once you get to your place that you're going, you see how much time that you've used, and then you know how long it'll take you to get back. Unless you're slower walking back because you're tired from all the walking in between. And then say, hey, I got 30 or 35 minutes to fish. So you set that time on the timer, and then you're good to go. And until it goes off, or you think that maybe somehow you turned it off yourself, which is kind of hard to do, you're good to go. You don't have to think about it. You can relax. You can focus on fishing. You can focus on what you need to do to catch the next fish and really like absorb nature and have a good time, which is what we're trying to do. After that, you have your allotted time to come home, and you should have pre-tested how long that takes as well. Maybe it's no difference, maybe it's a couple minutes longer, maybe it's even faster because the wind's behind you or something. You're trying to jog in between and get that workout in as well. But most people don't want to go to work sweaty, so I'm presuming you're not doing that. But you may be on a bike, it may be the hottest day ever where you're located, and that could be a possibility. That happened to me recently, and it took me a little longer to get back to work, but it's no problem. Sometimes it's normal enough that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But for some people, they're actually punching those old pieces of paper. You punch in, you punch out, and your time is exact. So you have to think of that pertaining to what situation you're in. But I'm gonna try to focus on people that have to control their time themselves and know whether or not, or maybe not know if somebody is watching you or tracking you. But if you're for most places, if you're like really blatant and you're like, this guy has been gone for hours several times now, and once they realize that, they'll either come to you with it, or they'll just start tracking you, and then they'll confront you later once they decide if you're a good worker or not. That's a totally different situation. I don't want to get into those kind of things too much, maybe, unless that's what you want to hear. And if that is what you want to hear, please tell me. Go to the website, fishingnetwork.com, give me a contact, and tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you don't want to hear. It's all good. So, in a nutshell, that is tracking your time for this activity. Sorry about that. There's always something loud going around here. Now, if you want to track your time for something else, say you're not going to the same location, you're going to have to redo your baseline, per se. How long does it take to get there? How long will you be able to fish? These are more of planning things. You can look at maps.google.com and use the walk or the bike or the bus or the car feature, and you can get a good preliminary time about how long it'll take to get somewhere else and how long it'll take to get back. You can use the drop pin to say exactly where you want to go, and then use the address or another drop pin to say exactly where you're coming from, and get a pretty good estimate about walking speed, unless you're a speed walker and you can do a little better. So I used that a lot when I was pre-scheduling this, because I had no idea and I was a little timid and I didn't want to go out there and try it myself. I eventually did, but first I looked at Google Maps and I noticed that it would take somewhere between 10 and 12 minutes to get to this location. I was like, okay, that means it's 10 to 12 minutes to come back. Okay, that leaves me with 40 to 30, maybe 35 to 40 minutes. Doesn't take me any time to, set up. I just pull my rod out of my bag, uncollapse it, start fishing. So that's 30 minutes of straight up fishing. That's nothing to laugh about. That is good fishing there. And I've caught several fish in that time frame. And you know better, maybe as good or maybe even better than me, that sometimes the fish aren't biting. And it can be demoralizing as well if you spent like a whole month planning a fishing trip and you go out and it's just not happening. You're on a boat, you got the bait, you got the lures, you got the techniques, you got the time, you got the tides, and nothing's happening. That can happen, but for the most part, it's going to work around here. If you focus on things like, live bait or the type of fish you're going to be fishing for, then you can kind of plan and optimize your time and catch more fish. So that's a great thing. And if you want to be back here like these guys and do some kayaking, like I talked about getting that annual pass for 180 bucks, then yeah, you can put that into time schedule as well. Maybe it takes an extra 10 minutes to get through all of that. Then your time's down to like 30 to 30 minutes or 25, and you're like, is 25 minutes enough fishing time and travel time on a kayak to get to where I want to go? I want to go to the bridge across the river or somewhere else. Maybe I'll only be fishing for like 20 minutes in reality, and I'll spend most of my time getting out in the kayak and getting back in, and all that registering and unregistering stuff or whatever processes are needed for that. So that's why I'm gonna push more toward having an inflatable kayak, or maybe you're somewhere else where nobody else will mess with your stuff and you can just leave it there locked to a tree or something, and then go get it, and that takes 2 seconds and you're out in the water as well, wherever you are located. But here in the city where there's a million people walking around, you can't just leave your stuff. So having a portable inflatable kayak is a great thing to do. So that's pretty much all I have to say about tracking your time. So this is Dwight Norris of FishingNetwork.com, signing out.